Okay.
So we're going to start off this live laughing. I see. So
Yes.
you're laughing. So Lee, what's going on? You said it's been a day.
It's been a day. It's just I think they call it the Sunday scaries as people ease into Monday, but because Monday was a holiday, I don't really have a catchy
Right.
phrase except for I had a Tuesday tantrum this morning and just being back
Oh,
in the swing of things and what does it mean to, you know, be back in the office.
right.
But I'm exactly where I
Right.
need to be right now, so I'm grateful to be in the
Yes,
space
you're at the nap kickback.
at the nap kickback with one of
You're
my
at the nap
favorite.
kickback.
How are you doing, Miranda?
I'm doing good. I'm in, sunny Rochester at the moment. So, yeah, I'm trying to stay positive amongst all this. I think our high today hit 16 degrees or something like that. So it was really cold. It's been cold. It's been snowy. Like you, yeah, I had a hard time coming back today on a Tuesday.
Yeah. But I have a
But
question. When it's like
thankful for the 3 day.
when it says 16 degrees, but does it mean it feels like 4 degrees with the wind chill, or that it was 16
Yes.
and it felt okay?
Yes.
It's even worse.
I don't know if it actually ever felt 16 today
Okay.
because the wind has been crazy here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been unbelievable. So, but
Well,
other than that, doing good.
well, we're gonna
Good.
get
I'm
some snow
glad.
here in the district this
Oh,
weekend, maybe. hmm hmm
all right. So you gonna take out your skis
I have only skied once as a child on fake snow.
on fake
So
snow?
fake snow.
How do you ski on fake snow?
Well, it's in Missouri. I'm from St. Louis, great one of the greatest.
Okay.
And we have fake snow. I forget the name of the place, but yeah, you would just go ski on this fake snow mound thing. I wasn't that good. I was terrible, actually. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Can you?
Oh,
Well, can you ski? What?
I can ski. Yeah, I
Oh,
ski often. Well, should say I skied often. I haven't probably in the last 2 years. I haven't been going as much,
oh, okay.
and mainly because I'm starting to. I normally don't mind the snow, and the reason why is because I can do outdoor sports,
Oh,
and
okay.
so that kind of makes me enjoy this season a little bit more. But lately, I haven't been enjoying the cold and the snow.
Oh, that's
I'd
fair.
rather be on a beach, I think, than on a ski slope. So
Well, with climate change, the beach is going to be coming real soon. It'll just be warm all the
this
time.
is true.
This is true.
I think they said that last year was the warmest year on record.
Mhm. Yeah. So
Hmm.
it's either you're going to be on the beach or you're going to be in space. It's like how I did that segue. See,
Yes.
I'll stop.
I know, because soon we're going to be talking about space.
We're
We're
going
going
to
to
be
be talking
talking
about
about
black in
space.
space.
We're going to go to space.
We're going
We're
to
going
go
to
to
go to space.
space.
We're going to go to space. We are.
Okay. And you're the conductor. You're going to help us
Commander.
get there.
I am
You're the
commander.
commander.
Commander of
The
the mothership.
commander. Okay,
Commander
good.
Lee. I have a jacket here. I don't know if you could see it, which has, my name on it and all the things. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Hello,
it's
New York.
very
What's what?
it's very glorious, that jacket.
It is. It is. And I need to figure out how it can be a part of the archive. I have so many questions for you. So, mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say no to
Um,
snow.
yeah.
I feel you. I feel
So
you.
we're gonna get into how we're gonna incorporate that jacket, that amazing jacket, into the archives. Where did you
Yeah.
get the jacket? Is it something you sewed or somebody
Well,
created?
it's actually two different pieces, both made by the amazing Rich Rocket of Vintage Rivals. And so the
Oh,
first piece they made for me is, can I do this on camera? Is they made
yeah.
the jacket for me, and that was for an event we did called
Oh,
Fantastic Four.
yeah. Okay. You're
And then
kind. It's
hmm,
Yep.
I'm gonna bring it closer
Yeah. Bring it closer.
so that people can see it. Can you see it?
Yes. Now we can see. Now we can see
Oh yeah. hmm
your famous comb, your black and space comb.
Yes, there was a
Pick.
pick. This is
I should
also
say
another
pick.
pick that was made by a friend. So this is all leather. This pick here, and then Rich also made. So this is made by Sean Michael Wade, and then this vest was made by Rich Rocket. So I've been very fortunate
Oh,
that to be in community with artists and who have made these amazing pieces for me to wear at events. So and then my DC flag because statehood. So there you go.
yeah, you represent.
Represent for my city all the time, all the time. So yeah.
So let's.
Sorry, I'm gonna
So
focus.
I'm
I'm gonna focus.
No, this is good because this is what we'll be talking about today.
Mhm.
So, this is the kickback is where we come together. Sometimes it's me and my crazy co-host Stephen Fullwood, but he's off exploring the world at the moment, and so so I'm joined by my amazing friend
Mhm.
Lee, who's going to talk to us about an archival collection. So on the net kickback too, I should probably say we talk about all things archiving most of the time. And so in last show with Stephen, we talked about sort of creating a collection, and he was talking about a collection that he created based off of his own interest. And so Lee, actually here, I invite Lee on today to talk about a collection that he's creating, or more like he's preserving his work, his and all the, as you just saw, the amazing people that Lee has worked with and collaborated with over the years for Black in Space, and thinking about how to preserve those materials into the future, into the Afro future that we are cruising into.
Yes.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
world building all the things.
We're
So
world
yeah,
building.
just trying to
Yes.
figure out, yeah, where are all these things gonna go? Because I don't know
Yeah.
how it works. And so yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
have
So
some
we're gonna
ideas.
get
Yeah.
we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So tell us a little bit about what is Black in Space, or tell us a little bit about you and your background. How did you even get to the point where you created something called Black in Space?
Oh wow. Where should we begin? As Esther Perel say. No. Um. So I
Start
as
at
you
birth. Start at birth.
started birth. All right. As I think I mentioned earlier, born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
Got to DC in July of 2002, and just from that, I think the moment I got here, that summer I got here, it just was a really formative place and space for me. Really finding like Black queer community. So I've always had a sweet spot in my heart for DC. Um, Left, came back, and then it was about in 2012, and actually even before 2012, I was always like hosting brunches and gatherings at my house. I think you've probably been to some of them, but it was in 2012 that decided I wanted to do public gatherings, and so the first iteration was a party called Freak Out, which was a free dance party during DC Black Pride. Freak Out became Makers Lab, and we were committed to creating spaces for LGBTQ folks in DC. We were around from
Okay.
like 2014 to 2017, 2018ish, then sunset that, and then wanted to bring it back in 2020 with in-person programming. But then we had stay-at-home orders, and so was
Yeah.
like I was considering canceling all of our programming, and I was like, well, no, people need to come together. How are we going to bring folks together? And then that's when it came up the idea of Black in Space, which was supposed to be a one event actually, like on Zoom. Because I do the most, it grew to 32 events over 5 days. So it became a 5 day festival called Black in Space. So Black in Space was a project of Makers Lab. Realizing that like Black in Space was the work that we were meant to be doing, then changed the name from Makers Lab to Black in Space. And so pretty much been working, yeah, as Black in Space since then. And so we, you know,
Okay.
obviously started in 2020 with like virtual events, and then we did some digital programming, like on-demand programming that people could watch. And then in 2022, we returned with in-person programming with Fantastic Voyage, which was a performance show of Black queer and trans performers over in Southeast. And then we came back with Black Joy Disco in 2024, which was a zero-proof dance party, which
Okay.
was at Woolly Mammoth. So that's Black in Space. So really committed to like Black joy and liberation in all
Yeah.
of its forms and all of its spaces. And so yeah.
Can I play the intro for it?
Yeah, so that's the promo from the first festival we ever did. Shout out to B. Steadwell, amazing artist, filmmaker, musician, who did that promo for us. So thank you, B.
Okay. So let's see if I can actually get this in the live. Get this to play.
If not, we can work it out.
Let's see.
Okay.
'Cause boy, you bring me joy. This boy brings me joy. Boy brought me joy. This boy brings me joy. Boy brought me joy. This boy brings me joy. Boy brought me joy. This boy brought me
So that was awesome. So this is, I'm guessing, one of the things that you'd like to at some point archive or add to the archive some of these promo?
I think so. Yeah. So also shout out to, as you can see, Danielle Ty, Asha Santi, B Steadwell for their contributions to that video. Yeah. So trying to figure out all the things that can be included in the archive, but then actually how to store them, how would people access them, right? Because that's like a digital record. So,
Right.
which is very different than, for say this like black and space button.
The buttons,
Gotta love the
yes.
buttons.
Which
Love buttons.
you make a lot of buttons.
I do make a lot of buttons, right? And then it's
Right.
also like I have all the flyers. I have them in digital form, but I also have printed copies for most of them, right? So I think there's a lot of material, but sometimes I get overwhelmed with where to even begin and like where can all this stuff even go. So
Right. Okay. So what have you done so far? So how many people is a part of this collective or is a part of Black in Space? Is it mostly you spearheading it and collaborating with different artists and performers and creatives, or is it more of a collective, a group of folks that are kind of building this world?
I mean, we are a group of folks. I would say there's like a core 5 folks that really are involved in most of the projects, and then we bring in other folks as
Okay.
needed, depending on the type of project that it is.
Okay.
And so, but
Okay.
I would say yeah, the core 5, but always uh, wanting to work with other people to bring visions to life and ideas to life. So
So who has then? So if there's 5 of you, who
mhm.
has most of the materials? Is it spread across all of
it,
you,
it's all in my house.
or oh, everything is yours? What about all the digital content, emails, things like that? Anything that other people might have, or do
Well,
you
even
have
if
everything?
people, well, even if people have emails, because we do have a blackandspace.com email extension, all of that
So
is
is in
like
there.
is all in there. Like I have,
Okay.
not that I read people's emails, but I have access
Right.
right to all of the
Right.
emails because
Okay.
I'm the admin, right? And then all of the flyers and things like that. Like I've been good about trying to like hold on to them. But then, so yeah, yes, I have all the stuff, but then I'm also trying to figure out, because there was like Freak Out, which led to Maker's Lab, which then led to Black in Space. Like, does all of that become part of the same archive? I think that's one of the other things I'm thinking through too. Because I have pieces from each of those as well.
Yeah. So here's a. Can you see it? The picture from Freak Out.
Yeah, it's a little
Did I
tiny
give?
because we was but
Oh, it's a little tiny.
it's a little tiny. It was actually inspired by a Chic album cover. Shout out to Noah Rassman, who did that first flyer
Okay.
for us back in
Okay.
2012. But yeah, so I have the digital of that, but then I also do have maybe 1 or 2 copies of that physical flyer from 2012, right?
Okay. And who's this group of folks? Because this is also part of the Black in Space
Yeah.
archive. Yeah.
So that's from a party we did called Black Planet at Tropicalia. That was during Black Pride 2017. So every party, fortunately, we were able to like hire a photographer and then later on a photographer and videographer for the events. So we also have photo and video from a lot of our in-person events as well.
Oh, okay. So I see. Yeah, this one here with Lisa Seymour.
hmm so that was another Makers Lab event. That was for the 20th anniversary celebration of Does Your Mama Know? And so we had the opportunity to work
Mm.
with Lisa to celebrate that important work. And so it's a photo from that event. Yeah.
For those who don't know, what is it?
What is what?
Does your mama know?
Oh, that was Does Your Mama Know is an anthology of Black lesbian coming out stories. And so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you've got. So what would you say the majority of your? Well, actually, before I get into like the actual makeup of the archive,
Mhm.
what has been your vision for this material since the beginning? And is this, you said there's 5 of you, is this something that you all have talked about and thought about together from the beginning or different times, throughout the creation as it's grown and it's continued for years? So what is sort of your vision or your thinking around it?
I mean, one thing I didn't mention, and quite honestly, I don't know if I necessarily had a vision around this,
Hmm.
excuse me, as an archive. In 2020, after we did the first festival, actually, DC Public Library and their People's Archive reached out to us and asked
Okay.
us if they could archive the first festival because we recorded everything on Zoom, although some footage did get lost. But could they
Okay.
record it so folks could watch the festival. And so
Wait, they recorded it
we recorded it. Black in Space, we recorded everything on
and
Zoom
then shared it with them.
and then shared everything with DC Public Library.
Okay.
So so those records are there, those videos are there, except for maybe I think we lost all of Sunday for some reason, technology. Things happen.
Oh,
But that's
okay.
pretty sad. Makes me sad because that was actually my favorite day of the whole thing. But
Yeah.
I
I mean, I remember that. That was great.
yeah, it was, it was a time. It was a time.
It was a
And
time.
so
It was very interesting too during that period too for you to then launch that virtual world. But
yeah,
it was a good time.
but so they have those recordings, and I still obviously have them like in Dropbox. But so I think it was when we had those initial conversations with them, I was like, oh, there's a there, and even with like Makers Lab, it's like, yes, I know we've done all this work in DC, but it was like, well, what do you do with it? Do people really want it? Does it matter? So I think that's been a conversation of like, yeah, even if we were to organize it, then what do we do with it? Like, where does it go besides my house? And when I think about like the core group of people in Black in Space, I think, they will help organize all the things, but ultimately, uh, it is a project that I will, probably do a lion's share of the work, and yeah, just had to figure out all the steps in the process, or majority of the steps in the process, right? So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. But what has been so? But you haven't really thought about like long term vision for, like, how do you like envision people using or understanding this material in the future? I mean, this is a very futuristic
we are
archive that
futuristic.
you're putting together. Yeah. So, like, really project yourself. Like, do you see? What do you see the value, and how do you see people using this material in the future?
Well, and I think that's the thing is sometimes I think the question has been is, I know this work is important, what has been created in DC.
Mhm.
But then it's like, will people actually want these materials, want these resources? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think for me, it's believing that this is material that's worth preserving and that people would access it in the
Yeah.
future and want to know what was happening in DC during this time, right? Because I do
During
think
that
that,
moment in time.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
so I think it's me, yeah, dreaming and believing that people want these materials in the future,
Right.
as opposed to like, oh, it was great, I did a thing, or we did a thing, and then just like, throwing it
Now
out.
it's over. Yeah.
Now it's over,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Mhm.
Right. Because I mean, it's a good. The reason why I asked is because it's something that a lot of people don't ask themselves or don't think about in the process of making things. They think about how great it was, how wonderful the energy was, and then they think about what's going to happen next. And as far as like what the impact for like showing that something like this happened in that moment, in that space and time, is really important because we don't know what influence it'll have in the future or how things will be different in the future, for the better or for the worse, and how looking back at this period, something that you created with a whole lot of other people, and to really sort of reflect on it in an interesting way. And we don't know what that way might be. We can't really predict that all the time, but it's good though that at least you understand the value in it. So and obviously DC Public Library did too, because they
Yeah,
reached out to you before you even put it together or
they reached out to us like, so after the festival.
after the festival.
After
Okay.
the festival, they're like, would you be interested in like donating the festival, the videos to the library? And I was like, it's just something I hadn't really considered. I was like, yeah, that sounds dope. I would love for us to be a part of the archives. But I think one of the things I also think about too is like archives. I feel like, and maybe this is a stereotype, that
Mhm.
there's like only certain people access archives, right? And so, what are the ways in which we can build an archive that feels like more accessible, or is going to get new audiences, right, to engage with the work, right? Not just like academics or archivists. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
So I think that's a big question that a lot of people are sort of thinking about, and a lot of archives are also thinking about. What has DC Public done since they acquired those materials? Is there a link online that people can go to watch it?
I believe there
How
is, but
accessible
honestly,
are
yeah.
they? Huh?
So I think today's conversation, I also am glad that we're talking because it's kind of like a nudge for me, like in terms of like re-engaging with this archive, one with our materials that are DCPL, and how can people even access them at this point? Because I do think they're available, but moving forward, like how do we want to assemble the rest of the archive? Could that potentially go to the People's Archive, or is there another, was it the repository or whatever, that it could go to? But yeah, what are the ways that we can create spaces for people to actually
Okay.
actively
So
engage with the
you
archives? Yeah,
so you haven't, since you deposited in 2020, you haven't actually gone online to look at their catalog and see it.
I cannot tell a lie. I have not,
Okay.
but
So when you say what are the ways? So this is actually big because I think a lot of people don't understand the relationship of the community, us people, with the archive, in that the relationship should be strong. So
yeah,
not just you, but everybody who is invested in that culture, your collection, that story, should be engaged in some way, in partnership, if they can, with their archives to help make things more public and to get the word out. So one of the things I would definitely recommend, and it's not a big deal because it might not even be accessible yet, because it does
yeah,
take time to get materials accessible. And it could take decades sometimes, and hopefully not in this case. But is to, once you know that the materials are out there, is to spread the word. And when you have other events and you're getting ready for a Black in Space, that when you're promoting it, that you're also promoting the archive and saying you should go back and look. And so that it's not just for academics, and that
yeah,
the word is getting spread to the community, and to get it out there into as many places as possible so that other people are also spreading the word. So if there are like community groups that you work with or other artist groups that you work with that would love to continue to share the information with new people who come into their world, their community, their organization, whatever,
yeah,
that they have it as a resource. And
yeah,
so definitely one of the ways to do it is in partnership with that institution that you've already said yes to, and you've put your trust in, to figure out ways in which you both can do things that you can do to help promote it, is the best way. About it. I mean, you have to do it in community. You have to do it in support of, and then you can get the word out.
yeah.
But to your second question about should you continue, like you've already established a relationship with DC Public, and if you wanted to continue to, if you like the relationship or if you'd like to build a relationship, the best thing to do is to keep your materials together. A public library, you want it more public instead of academic, is the best way to go. And yeah, to continue to ask them, go back and say, we have more materials. We have more than just digital content. We have flyers, we have buttons, you probably don't want to give away that fabulous jacket, but you might have textiles, you might have other things that have been created, photographs, emails, all those things. And they'll probably be interested in it because they probably want to complete the collection, and they probably want to complete the story and show how Black in Space has evolved over the years. But I would definitely reach out and start and continue the conversation with them.
And I will say the library did reach out about us potentially doing some programming in during the Pride season. So they are interested, and I really appreciate them wanting to continue the relationship. I think it's been like a matter of timing,
Yeah.
figuring those things out. But I think one of the questions I do have though is like, because when we got this initial invitation in 2020, like it was very exciting, right, to be considered for the archive. But I also didn't really necessarily know all the questions to ask, right? And so now that it's like 6 years later, like what are all the things I should be considering? And I think one of the things I think about too is like, I think it's easy with like flyers and things like that, right? But we have like all these photos, and so when we did the videos, we got consent from those people who did the videos. But what do we do with like a photo that you just saw, where there's like 40 people in that shot? Like I don't know all those people, so what are the responsibilities on my part before like donating materials, let's say to the library?
So when you did donate that first batch, and if anybody out there has also had this experience where you've created things and somebody has reached out to you at an archival institution, and asked you to donate materials, we'd love to hear your story. So definitely put it in the chat. Or if you have any anything any comments you have for Lee or myself, about anything when it comes to building and maintaining an archive or working with an archival institution, also put it in the chat. Any questions you might have, that would be dope. So when you put the permission slips together for people, the consent forms,
Mhm.
did that give you permission to do whatever you wanted with the video content that they were? Because that's one of the questions I was going to ask you, if that was something, those permission forms you also gave to the library to show that you had the right to pass ownership over to them so that they could freely put it out there into the world. Did you talk about like if it would be up online? Did people have to go in person to see it, even if it's digital? What kind of parameters did you put around the use or access for the collection?
I need to reread it, but
Okay.
I because I think it was their form, right? And we're like, oh, this looks great again, because I don't know. And then people signed it because I think people are also excited, and then we handed over the video.
Everybody who participated signed it.
Yeah, everyone signed it for.
Okay. So
Yeah,
all the participants signed forms to give access to it.
for the videos, yes. But when I'm looking at, like, for example, Maker's Lab art materials, right? If I have, like, because we had a photographer and videographer at every party, and it's not like we necessarily had all these signs up that said, like, by entering these premises, you're giving us the right to these photos. So, like, are there things that we need to be considering, right? Because
Yeah.
maybe what somebody did, like, back in 2015 at a basement party in Tropicalia, and now maybe they don't want that in the library. But I don't know
Right.
all those people. I can't contact all those people.
So
So
when it comes to the actual photographs themselves, you're the permission holder, correct? Because you paid
yeah.
somebody on your behalf to create those photographs. So, as far as that straight line for you to actually give the materials to the library as the owner, that is fine. As far as putting them up online and
Mhm.
having them, and I actually do want to go back to the video. I know you wanted to scoot past it, but
Yeah. Oh,
as far as putting the photographs online, um, that's that is a more challenging question, and is something that you should really think about and think through about your community and understanding, like, again, like the sensitivity around having these photos up and
mhm.
available to see. So you could have it so that they're not pictures that are up online. Like, you have to actually go into the archive and look at the photographs,
Mhm.
and that people have to contact you, um, not the library, but to contact you for permission to use it. So say they want to publish it, say they're writing an article and they
Mhm.
want to writing an article about Black in space or about Black queer spaces in DC, and they want to use it in a publication, then you'd have to get the rights to doing that.
Okay.
But it's something to consider, because yes, it's true. It's like anything. Like, if you're standing on the street and somebody's taking photographs, or you're passing by a newscaster and they get you in the new, it's one of those things that's really tricky. And I think there's a lot of it, if you're thinking about like the ethical ways to do something like this, and it's not the same thing, and I don't want to make it seem like these are apples and apples,
Yeah.
but there are similar questions that come up, like with people who are into like documenting the now, and especially around like protests
Yeah.
and things like that, where people are doing something that they're politically motivated to do, but not exactly thinking about how they're being captured and then being archived. And there's a lot of really great sites out there, a lot of people who are doing this work and doing it from a lens of being more conscientious about how they are putting other people's images that don't know about it in repositories. And so I would suggest, as you're thinking about what you're donating, that you look into what other people have done and some of the feedback, because a lot of people have published like white papers on it or best practices on it. And I would say, like, I don't want to say what I think you should do. I think you should read and look into it and then make a decision for yourself,
Yeah.
or with the people that you built this space with.
Got it.
But you can still give it to the archive, and because the photographs are still in your under your ownership, unless you give all of it to the library, which you wouldn't do.
Yeah.
You can limit how people use those materials,
Got it.
like republish it. For the videos, though, I know that you had for Black in Space, especially in 2020, it was like a paid thing to go to those.
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah.
are you okay now with it being after the fact and then it's just free out there in the
Oh yeah.
world, those videos?
I
Okay.
mean, if I had my druthers, the festival itself would have been free, but we set it up in such a way that people who could afford to pay paid so that we could compensate all the artists because everything happened so quickly. Like we didn't have funding, we didn't have a grant, so we really had to rely on community to make sure that anyone who
Yeah.
participated in the festival could be paid for their time. So
Okay.
that's why there was
Okay.
that fee. But in an ideal world, when I think about all the programming I've done, like I prefer to do free programming. It just hasn't
Yeah.
always been possible.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So you've got photographs, you've got the videos, you have videos from subsequent events.
I have videos going back to 2015 from Makers Lab parties, like
Okay.
recap videos and yeah.
What
Mhm.
do you know what you named the collection at DC Public? Is
I,
it Makers Lab Black in Space or is it Black in Space 2020, whatever the name of the party was or
I
the event was?
that's another great question. What I'm gonna find out. Miranda's like, how did you get
Ye-
on my back? I'm gonna find out. And when the follow up, I would have answers to
yes,
all.
find out what the name is. Find out what the name is.
Yeah,
Let's see. Tanya asked a question. Let's see what this is. See if I can read it. Does a person relinquish their rights ownership of said materials once they donate to archive? No. So you don't. What you relinquish is your the physical rights to the materials. So think if Lee has a button and Lee gives that button to the archive or a set of letters or photographs, Lee is now giving up physical ownership. But who created that button, who created that photograph, took the photograph, they they still hold we call intellectual property rights. So you can maintain your intellectual property rights. Now, if you are the owner of those intellectual property rights and you want to give it to the institution, you can. People have done that in the past and they still do it. I think people do it less and less now. It can be there's pluses and minuses to doing that, to giving up your intellectual rights. And some of it is it's just easier if the institution could say yes or no to something and I have to go and find a donor. You think, okay, somebody gave something 75 years ago, and then you have to figure out, that person has passed, they're no longer with us. And you have to figure out who is now in charge of their estate, who can make the decisions. And they may have just the same amount of information as you would to know like what was in that person's mind. Would they say yes or no to something? Well, 75 years, actually it'd probably be out of copyright by that time, but you know what I'm saying, like 20, 10, 5, 10 years into the future, it's harder to kind of figure out like who still to get rights and permissions from. But so sometimes people will do that, but then it gets tricky for an institution to keep it. I always recommend to people they should hold on to their rights for as long as they can, so that they can control, who is doing what with their material, especially now with, technology, AI, and other things.
I do have a question. Have you worked with a collection that you would say is like similar to what we have with like Black in Space? And if so, or maybe this is a more general question, like how much time should I really like dedicate to this work? Is it like, oh, well, if you do an hour a week, is this, or I'm just trying to figure out how to structure my time, right? So that it doesn't become like 5-6 years and like, no real progress has been made on, right?
So you have both digital and physical materials, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably more digital content than physical, I would imagine.
Probably more digital. Yeah.
Yeah. And what is your thinking around you doing it yourself versus donating it to an archive and letting somebody else organize those materials? Is it because you want control in how they're organized, how they're named, or how they're kind of put together, or?
I think it's twofold. I think I'm open to an archive potentially organizing it. I think it's also wanting to use some of these materials like in a like short experimental film
Got
called The
it.
Story
Okay.
of Space. And so I think this process of like going through the archives and figuring out what we have and don't have is going to help inform whatever this like next project is, this next piece of media that we create.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Um, so here's the thing. So before I answer that, I want to go back really quick to the question
Mhm.
about rights.
Yeah.
If you were to donate to Lee, this is for anybody, you're donating things in your collection that you have, but somebody else owns the intellectual property rights for, you can't give their rights away either to the institution.
Hmm.
And the institution can't just contact you for permission. They have to contact the actual rights owner. So that's also a key distinction. Even though you may physically own the materials, you may not be the copyright owner. You may not hold intellectual property of those materials. So that's also something to keep in mind when you donate materials to a collection. But for you, so it sounds like the real reason why you want to hold on to these materials and organize them, which is a big one, which a lot of people do. They want to like write a book or make a film. You see an afterlife, you see a different part of Black in space outside of the party space where you see these materials kind of coming to light, right? Which is also a way to bring, this archive to life, which is what you said at the beginning. Like, how do we make it more accessible?
Yeah.
So for that reason, I think doing a initial organization of the materials, like in a broader sense, so not like so not doing it, like I don't know, with like a fine tooth, comb,
Mhm.
like really taking like a large, maybe a pick to it, and like really
I like it. No.
thinking big. Yeah, like, thinking,
Yeah.
so that it's because you kind of want to get it into an organization that you can then use
Mhm.
for the purpose of creating this other project, this film. And so you want to get it to a space where it's just usable at that point, and in sort of organizing schemes that make sense to you. So organizing buckets or by themes, or however you want to sort of put them together so that it makes sense to you. So I would say you would need less time to do something like that, like a real um, detailed organization would take a lot of time. But
Mhm.
I think that if you did it in broad strokes, it would take less time, and then it would get you into the project faster. Once you're in the project, I would say start thinking about how you can refine the organization that you've already put together, because then you are looking through things and you'll start to see, oh wait, this looks, so do both at the same time, almost like this actually goes well with this. I mean, we were talking about this certain event, a certain performer, this certain outfit, or whatever. All of this stuff makes sense grouped together,
Mhm.
and start to sort of put it together in that way, and then it'll sort of organically start to be refined as you're using the materials, versus using the materials and kind of getting them all out of, because what could happen is you're using them for the film and you're letting the film dictate how the materials are being stored and organized based
Mhm.
on the narration of the film, or what you're trying to accomplish with the film. So you could just think of it like your closet. Your closet's really organized, and all of a sudden you've got an event and you're like tearing it apart for the perfect outfit, and you keep changing it up, and then your closet looks a mess again. So you don't want that to happen to your collection.
We'll organize the
But I
archive
would,
first.
yes,
Okay.
organize it broad strokes, and
Mhm.
then go in it, and as you're using it, refine it a little. But know that if you are going to give it to an institution, and you could talk to them before you even don't, you could say that you're interested, and they could say that's fine, and it could be like 5 years from now before you actually give them the materials. But then know that they're going to be the ones to do the final organization. But you're
Okay.
going to give it to them in a place where they can actually get it done really quickly and get it out there to the public even faster
Okay.
than they have if you had just put it all in a box and handed it to them.
All right. That's good. That's helpful.
But I would say don't over process.
Don't
That's not the
okay.
point of this. Don't overprocess. No, don't overprocess. You've got other things going on in your life. You've got other things that you're creating. If you got to work with an institution, let them do it.
And I think that's helpful because I think that's probably been some of the hold up too, because I feel like, oh, I need to do all of these things, but it sounds like I need to spend some
You don't.
time on it, but not
Right.
all of my time on it. And that should be
Yes.
okay.
Yes. It's always appreciated to have, as an archivist, to get a collection that is, somewhat organized. It's always
Right.
appreciated. But I wouldn't say that should hold you up from the next phase of Black in Space.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, that was
Well, thanks
my
for
main
sharing it.
questions. I feel like I have
Okay.
homework. Every time I talk to
You
y'all,
got
I feel like I have homework. So yeah.
Yes. Use some homework, but it's
Yeah.
all doable. It's all
Mhm.
doable. Some of
Yeah.
it's just a phone call.
It's a phone call, probably going through some emails, reading some things, which I might
Mhm.
just do tonight and see what's going on
Yes.
with this
Yes,
archive.
yes. So
Yeah.
what is next for, you were saying that you've got you're thinking about creating a film. What else is next for Black in Space? Is there something that people who are in the DC area can
What is next for Black in
anticipate?
Space? Um, I think right now a newsletter is probably going to be coming out in the spring called Afro
Okay.
Picks, and so that is going
I
to
like
be
it.
Afro Picks. Got to stay on brand
Yes.
here. You see it? Okay.
Yes.
No, that way because I'm not really on social media, but that doesn't mean I don't want to be out
No.
and about and supporting dope events, dope artists, and so really providing folks with like a curated list of activities happening in the DC area to really support like
Okay.
Black weirdos and queerdos. So I
Okay.
would say launching
Weirdos.
Afropix. I'm relaunching the Black in Space website because that has been the mothership has been grounded for a little bit. So looking forward
Okay.
to relaunching that space. And yeah, really the story of space. Like it is time for this film to be made.
Yeah.
And but I think we needed some time away from it. And now I think I have a clear sense, we have a clear sense of what the story is, and also knowing it might change in the process too. Like because I know that happens sometimes too with film. So
And where can people get Afro Picks?
well, once I relaunch this website, which is Black in Space,
Okay.
BLKN space.com, then there'll be an
Okay.
option to sign up for our newsletter. So
What was the news? Did I get the newsletter right?
Afropix, yeah, that's the name of it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Shout out to Ori for naming that one. Ori.
Okay.
Our
Thanks,
director
Ori.
of history and culture, who is amazing person. So I think those three things because I'm trying to also think about it in a way that feels like doable and measured and not also doing the most. So then we lose the joy in the process, right? So I feel
Right.
like if we do those three things this year, I think we're in a
Yeah.
solid place.
Okay, good. All
Yeah.
right.
So
I'm
stay
looking
tuned.
forward to it. Yes, we'll stay tuned. Well, and when you do, we'll have to have you back on.
Yeah,
But you'll probably be back on very soon, anyways.
I'll be popping up with a different hat, not as Commander Lee, but as
Yes, Commander Lee.
a different hat, and very much.
Okay. I wish can you put the jacket on? Is that too much? to
No,
ask?
because the thing is, I love the jacket, but the arms are actually a little bit too short.
Oh, okay.
So, but next time we'll see. Maybe next time I come on and give you a film update. Also I don't want to have like a little awkward camera moment putting on the jacket.
Yes.
So then I will put on the whole suit. There's also a hoodie that used to say Armstrong on it, and I scratched that out and put McNair on there for Ronald E. McNair, one of the first Black astronauts. My 6th grade center was named after him, so a tribute to him and him being an inspiration. So yeah, I will do the whole fit.
Okay, good.
Next time I'm on
Okay,
the
good.
show.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks for being here today, Lee, and
Thanks for the
for putting
invite.
together Black in Space.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was a good conversation. Hopefully, if you are joining us in the future and you have any thoughts or comments about what's been discussed here, definitely drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this episode, definitely give us a like. And if this is your first time here, welcome. This is a space where you can definitely join in and conversate with us. We'd love to hear from you. It's a space that is still developing. So
It's an experiment.
it's an experiment. It's an experiment. But we're glad to be here, and we're glad that you were here with us. So we hope that you have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. This is a Tuesday. It is. It's a Tuesday. And a great week ahead. And I don't know. Anything you'd like to leave everybody with, Lee? Commander Lee?
Thanks for listening. See you in space.
See you in space.